Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Tony from RedBeard Podcast. Welcome this week. Guys, it's crazy, man. There's been some awesome movies coming out in the theaters recently. And one of them was Cock Blockers, or as most of us have been calling it, Blockers.
Most of us call it Cock Blockers, let's be real.
We're going to talk about the title of that movie and what we thought. Also,
if by most of us, we mean 50%. I mean, in both cases.
Hey, guys, Cooley's here. So the Walking Dead finale also came out last Sunday, and some shit went down, man. So stay tuned for us talking about that. Some Action Comics news, which is pretty awesome as well. X-Men Dark Phoenix is the next X-Men movie that's supposed to be coming out, but we might have to wait until 2019 to actually see that come to fruition. And finally, today there was a Halloween poster that was released that features Michael Myers. Basically just, it's his mask, but it's a very old, decrepit mask. So we're going to talk about the symbolism behind that and what we have to look forward to for the new Halloween movie coming out in October. So stick around.
RedBeard Podcast is brought to you by these cool dudes.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We got Jim Rock with us. What's up, dude?
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Good to see you, Tony. Same with you, Cooley.
What up?
Every time, dude, you got to do the wave to the audience that doesn't see it. I love it,
But
man.
they feel it. They can feel it through the wires.
It's like a virtual hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and everybody knows Cooley's here. If you already heard him a couple of minutes ago. So
Better ask somebody.
yeah, right, dude. So, dude, you actually saw what movie did you see?
Cock Blockers, bro.
Cock Blockers.
Chicken blockers.
So,
Chicken rooster heads.
so him and I got into a little debate that the movie is technically called Blockers, but they put a rooster plus the word blockers because they can't officially say cock blockers. But I mean, like, I gotta be honest, man, I looked up the title of the movie like after we talked about it, and like anytime I've seen it on TV or I've seen it like actually at the movie theater, I just see blockers, and I never saw the actual like rooster until like later today when we talked about it.
Yeah, I remember them actually saying, let's go cock block these bitches, maybe?
Or these kids, yeah.
Whatever they said.
I mean, like, I figured blockers, like, is you know, it's cock blockers.
Yeah.
I figured that.
I mean, I guarantee you that the script was turned in as cock blockers, and the studio said, guys, you can't say cock. You can't say cock. It can't be in the title. You can't say cock. So what they did was they put the rooster in front of cock. I mean, instead of cock, in front of blockers, so that when you look at it, you go, cock blockers. Oh, it's cock blockers.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah.
So I guess no matter what way you slice it, if you look at it and you want to be mad technical, you can say it's just blockers. But you know that blockers makes no fucking sense. It's cock blockers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly went into this movie with very low expectations, and I like, you know, my wife wanted to see it, and I was like, you really want to see this? Like, we ended up seeing A Quiet Place instead of Blockers, and then after that we saw Blockers, and the next movie is Chappaquiddick. But like, honestly,
what?
Yeah, it's called Chappaquiddick. It's about it's about the Kennedys. You gotta just look it up. I'm not gonna explain it. Ed Helms is in it. But anyway, we went in to see this movie, and dude, I'm calling it a sleeper because a lot of people don't realize how funny this movie actually is. Like, I did not expect it to be funny, and it was awesome. John Cena was freaking hilarious, man. Like, you actually liked it.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, man. I didn't think it was a sleeper though. I expected this movie. I fully expected this movie to be funny, mainly because Leslie Mann is a part of it, and anything that she's been in has been phenomenal. And I think the reason behind that has to be, I'm not taking anything away from her talent and her ability to hold her own, but her husband's Judd Apatow.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think he's gonna let her be in anything that's not good.
Right.
Because and not that he controls her. Like, I don't want anybody to like take this as like anti-feminism or anything like that. Like, I mean, totally she stands on her own. But they're a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're a team. They're husband and wife. They help each other out. They support each other. And Judd Apatow being such a prolific writer of comedy movies and director, somebody who's put out hit after hit after hit, is not going to want his wife to be part of something that's bullshit. And I'm sure they bounce this shit off each other.
But you also know that like Judd Apatow didn't direct this movie.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he probably read the script though and was like, "Yo, this is good."
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, she's a super funny actress. I mean,
Yeah,
I
she's
remember
great.
her back from like 40-Year-Old Virgin and like Big Daddy, where like they're cracking on it for the whole Hooters jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been around for a long time. So,
This is 40.
oh yeah, all
Yeah.
those movies, man. So I really like her as an actress. So I knew what I was going to get with her. But I think for me, John Cena, dude,
He stole the show for
he
me.
stole the show.
He was
hilarious.
amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
And Jim, you got to check this movie out. I think you and your girl would like it.
It sounds like I'm going to have to. It's certified fresh on Tomatoes. To be honest with you, this was going to be a movie that I was going to kick to the curb.
Yeah.
It looked bad to me, and it never dawned on me, Leslie, man, she's probably talked to Judd Apatow. But I think that, when I heard Blockers, I thought this was going to be a football movie. It's not.
Right.
Then I found out John Cena and Ike Barinholtz are like the leads in it.
Yeah.
And I
Yo,
instantly
Ike
went,
Barinholtz.
shit.
He was hilarious
Ike
in this,
Barinholtz
man.
is
He was
one of my
freaking
favorite actors.
funny, dude.
He's one of my favorite comedic actors right now, and it started with his turn in Eastbound and Down. He played this like Russian baseball player that came in and stole Kenny Powers' spotlight.
See, I never saw that show.
That
yeah.
show is you
a great
need to
show.
watch that show. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Everybody talks about it. I don't know. I'm not a big what's his face, the other guy in it,
Danny
Danny
McBride.
Danny McBride fan.
But that's
Yeah.
you
have
have to
to be.
watch Eastbound and Down, and you'll kind of like Danny McBride
Yeah, you
because of
become-
it. That's his role.
Yeah.
I became a Danny McBride fan because of that show, not because of anything else he's done. But then everything else he's done becomes much funnier to me because I know his character from Eastbound and
Gotcha.
Down. But two tidbits of information, right? One, I'm looking at the cast of the movie Cock Blockers
Right.
because I wanted to check out, who else was in it and stuff like that. But I found it by typing in Cock Blockers in my search bar.
Yeah.
And the first thing that comes up is the movie Cock Blockers.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
So that's just an aside because I thought that was interesting because I didn't have any spaces. It was all one word, and it actually found the movie. So I think it's just part of proving my theory a little bit, but maybe not 100%.
Well, when you look at the actual poster, I mean, it says parents can be such. There's a rooster and then blockers. So
Right.
looking at the poster, I would have gotten it, but I never saw the poster before I saw the movie, honestly.
But the other thing that I wanted to bring up, and this has nothing to do with the movie Blockers or Cock Blockers, it is that Leslie Mann and Judd Apatow's daughter is actually a pretty damn funny actress herself.
Yeah.
Who is appearing in the TV show Love on Netflix, which if you haven't watched it is amazing. It's a fantastic comedy series. But back to Blockers.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's all I pretty much got to say about it. I would just urge people to check it out because I thought it was worth seeing, and I would not have seen it if my wife didn't want to go, but I'm glad I went.
Yeah, congratulations to the director. I just looked this up, and take this as chauvinistic if you want to. Maybe it's just ignorance. But the director is Kay Cannon, who is a female. And typically in Hollywood, you don't see a female helming a raunchy, R-rated movie that kind of works to both sexes.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you have like Bridesmaids and stuff, but I'd like to say that initially was supposed to be a female movie, and it just turned out that everyone loved it, and for good reason.
But if you look at some of the stuff she's done in the past, I mean, she's done like Pitch Perfect, and they get kind of raunchy in some scenes in Pitch Perfect.
But
You know what
Pitch
I mean?
Perfect is, you would say, it's catered towards women.
Right. I mean, she's also done some work on 30 Rock too. So, I mean, I definitely think, maybe she's trying to switch it up and to get these actors involved in it. I mean, and on the roster, I mean, she definitely killed it. It's great chemistry.
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, she definitely brought out the best in Ike Barinholtz and John Cena.
Yeah, she did.
Which right there, I would instantly have been like, no, I'm not going to see this.
Same
movie.
thing.
Something that I didn't mention yet, but deserves to be mentioned is Mark Singer and Gina Gershon in this movie. That their roles were freaking hilarious.
Yeah, no, they were.
Like I thought that, to me, that was like that's the thing I'm gonna talk most about with my friends and family that have seen the movie and stuff like that. Like that's what I'm gonna sit there and laugh my ass off about.
Right.
That and my boy from Superstore, Garrett.
Oh yeah.
He was a limo driver.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name though. What's his name?
Colton Dunn
Maybe Colton Dunn.
is in Superstore, and
Yeah.
he's a limo driver
Yep.
in Superstore.
No, he's a limo driver in Cockblock.
But he's in a wheelchair
yeah,
in Superstore. It's
Superstore.
Colton Dunn.
Yeah, he's great, and he's actually really good in the movie too.
See, I'm a big fan of Gary Cole, man, because that guy is just a G. He played Lumberg in Office Space, and he was actually the father. He was playing. They were playing like the sex games at their house.
Oh, all right.
Right.
Oh, I thought that was Mark Singer.
No, it's Gary Cole. It's this guy.
Oh, it's this.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. It's
all
the
right.
guy from Office Space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for a second I was agreeing with you, and then I was like, wait, I think he's thinking of the other. Yeah, it's Gary Cole. Yeah, he's hilarious, man. But
Mark
I
Singer.
definitely loved their addition to it.
Oh my God, are they fucking twins though? Hold on.
It might be. This blew my mind, though. All of us got an opportunity, obviously, to watch the finale of The Walking Dead. So, Jim, when did you see the finale? Was it live? Was it like the next day?
Yeah, I DVR'd it so I didn't have to watch the commercials, but I got all caught up. I watched 3 episodes back to back
Yeah.
and then watched the finale. So I got to watch everything all leading up to it, so I really got a good idea.
Yeah. What did you think?
I was very disappointed.
With the finale?
Yes, very disappointed.
Why?
You know what?
Holy shit. All right.
I've had friends been telling me that The Walking Dead is just starting to become boring. Like nothing really ever happens. Everything is very drawn out. And I always gave The Walking Dead the the benefit of the doubt until now. And I don't know, maybe it was just me personally, but it just felt very patty cake. It just kind of felt like, figures. Like this is what would happen. No one really died. Like no big epic battle really happened. Like it's just kind of like, whatever. Like it's just things just move on.
I mean, I kind of agree with you on one aspect, is that I feel like there was a lot of kind of like the same shit, like every episode kind of leading up to the finale. Like the episode before the finale and the actual finale, I really enjoyed. But up to that, there were a lot of things where I was like, okay, figures, he's not going to, like, obviously Negan got away. Like, all right, like they're going to drag it out for another couple episodes until we get to the finale. So I can kind of agree with you on that aspect. But the actual last 2 episodes I really enjoyed. And I got to hand it to Don Carrara because he actually called the exactly what was going to happen with the bullets. And
I didn't think it was going to happen, but it did.
yeah, it was weird, man, because like up until the whole time I'm like, oh, something might happen with the bullets, something might happen. And then right at the last second where like they show you Eugene's face before they all fire, I'm like, oh shit. And then all the guns started exploding and I was like, fucking Don. Like he does that shit. Like Don fucking sees things like 4 episodes ahead and like calls the endings of movies when I like never see it coming.
Yeah, but like to me,
He's very good at that.
I told you my stance on that, and I still stand by the fact that it just makes no sense that he would want to help Rick's crew. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like, I feel like Eugene is a survivor. Like he's going to thrive wherever he is because that's what he does. He's a survivor. So I honestly think his loyalty was always with Rick's crew. But he wasn't going to let, what's her face? Is it Sasha? Not Sasha. What's her name? The girl that he threw up on? Not Sasha.
Rosita.
Thank you, Rosita. He wasn't going to let Rosita actually take him back because he knew if he got taken back, then he wouldn't have been able to actually finish the project that would actually prevent all of Rick's crew from getting killed. So he basically did what he had to do to get back to the fucking bullet factory to make the bullets, so they would actually backfire on the saviors, literally.
Here's one question about that, and that is when it came to the bullet making, he previously told the people who are making the bullets how to make them correctly, and then still needed the whole gang to make all those bullets, and for some odd reason, everybody made wrong bullets, like defective bullets.
So I think what happened is originally Gabriel was like, he basically made a bullet like off a little bit, and then Eugene like corrected them all and said, this is the way to make the bullet, but in the corrected like Gabriel, but also told them how to make it the wrong way. Like he knew it was wrong, but Gabriel is the one that gave him the idea.
Right, but what he's saying is that prior to that,
he told everybody how to
everybody
make
was
the
making the bullets
correct.
correctly until he changed up how they were going to make them. So how is it that every single like gun that was fired ended up like blowing up? Like some of them shouldn't have.
Because he made sure that the bullets that were actually made from that point on, because he said, oh, we need this many bullets by this time. So I think that he made it a point to separate those from the ones that were previously made. Because if you think about it, they didn't need that many. All they needed was like one bullet in each chamber of the gun that was going to be fired first. And there were maybe like 40, 60 saviors. Like if they all fire that first bullet, it's going to backfire. That's all that he needed.
But I'm going to assume that Eugene didn't load all of those guns.
I think that he did.
No, but he probably front loaded the boxes though. The boxes of bullets. He probably front loaded the bad ones and left the good ones in the back.
Exactly.
I mean, this is all. He
made it
It's a
happen.
small thing,
Right.
It's suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
I liked that now, like Maggie and Daryl.
Oh, I was just gonna say that.
And Jesus are gonna be like the bad guys, but I'm afraid of the way Walking Dead has played out. Oh, and by the way, when Maggie was talking to Jesus, God, did Jesus have a rapey face going? He had this really kind of like evil smile.
Well, he was creepy, man. I mean, like they're basically saying like that like then like screw them, like Negan's done all this stuff, like we're not gonna let him live.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that though is but first hold on, I just wanted to say to your point, the grand battle or grand finale battle that you may have been waiting for is like anybody who was waiting for that battle to happen, like keep in mind the whole season was that grand battle. That was the whole point of the season, was to be all out war.
But was it an all out war? I felt like there was.
Well, it was, but the pacing. Well, the pacing was bad, is what it was. Like the pacing was a little slow at points, like where they focused more on character development and less on the conflict. But yeah, I mean every episode almost had like a part where like like the saviors were coming after the hilltop, or the hilltop was going after the saviors, or Negan and Rick were fighting, or the saviors went and got the garbage people, or everything was all like all the pieces were moving and all the battles and conflicts were happening. All building up to the last part where they were going to go and like shoot them all, but the bullets blew up and that kind of like screwed everything up. And then the Oceanside people came and started throwing their weird fucking explosive Molotov cocktails, which aren't really explosives. They just cause fire. But they were explosives in here, which was weird. I forgive it, but I shouldn't. Anyway, point is that the whole season was that mega battle that just kind of culminated in this last episode.
I honestly think that if anything, I mean, this is a big change in The Walking Dead. I mean, we're going to see some kind of like internal battles happening now that like Daryl and Jesus and Maggie are kind of like, they have their own agenda. Also, you have those that other like van with that lady is going to get involved now because she's bringing like all that, all those books on how to build shit to start a new society and a new world.
And there's that giant herd that's coming.
Yeah, that's like out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and that's going to be huge. I
have this feeling that that's going to be the Whisperers, and if it is, that's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to just seeing what happens with Negan going forward, because I really liked how they kept him alive. I do agree with Maggie somewhat, how she I understand why she was so pissed at Rick, and I totally understand where she's coming from. But the fact that they actually let him live and they're just going to let him rot in a cell, you could tell that Negan was like, I'm fucked. And I wouldn't be surprised if Negan tries to actually kill himself, because even Becca was thinking, she watched the finale. I kind of blew through it with her just to show her, and she was like, she's like, he's going to kill himself. So, or attempt to, at least, which wouldn't surprise me. But who knows?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and maybe I'm going a little off topic. First off, Jesus. I want to get back to Jesus once again. While he was giving that pedophile smile to Maggie, I'm thinking to myself, he just told Morgan,
I was
not
just
to
gonna say
murder people.
That was actually the point I was gonna make.
Yeah, by using the blunt side of his cane, and now he's like, oh, we're gonna find a way to get back.
Yeah, but who knows if Jesus is actually really on her side?
Right.
If he's taking information to actually feed it back to Michonne and Rick, he might be playing both sides for a second.
Yeah.
I'm also worried because, one, I'm excited that Daryl and Maggie and Jesus seem to have their own little tryst going where they might be the new bad guys.
Right.
But I just feel like in the long run, no one's going to die because of it, and they're all going to end up hashing everything out, and it just, I don't know that's going to happen for a fact, but it just feels like another, get ready, something crazy is going to happen, and then it's going to be a bit of a letdown.
Well, I mean, who knows, man? I mean, it could be, we're never going to know until next season. It's one of those things where, I agree somewhat with people where they say The Walking Dead is kind of losing some of its traction, and to some extent I feel like it has, but like I said, I mean, the last 2 episodes for me, I found engaging and I enjoyed watching them, and it kind of brought the excitement back.
The other thing about the little triumvirate that you mentioned is Daryl is a weird. It's weird that to me that he still doubts Rick. You know what I mean? He was Rick's boy, then all of a sudden he decided to go on his own, but everything that he's done on his own has kind of fucked the group.
Yeah, no, I completely agree on that.
And then when he always realizes hey, I fucked the group, dude, I'm sorry, and then he fucks the group again.
Yeah.
And then now was the perfect time for him to stick up for Rick, and actually kind of but he's still gonna kind of stay in that mode where he's just screw Rick, and we should continue to do things the wrong fucking way. It's just really weird to me. I think Rick has earned his trust as far as his decision making goes. Maggie is obviously driven by vengeance. It makes perfect sense to me that she's going to react the way that she's reacting. But both Daryl and Jesus, they both seem kind of out of character.
But I also feel like Daryl's basing his feelings and his next direction on remembering Glenn getting his face smashed in and Abraham getting killed. These people could have survived, and all the people that Negan is responsible for killing, you're going to let this dude live. I feel like there's a line that Daryl, this dude crossed the line. Right. There are people that have been a lot less threatening that Daryl has killed. So for him to actually want to kill Negan and be with Maggie on that made perfect sense to me.
No, but to not give Rick the opportunity to explain what he did.
Rick already did. He talked to the entire group, and everybody, and a lot of people already, I feel like they kind of get it. It's the whole Carl thing that got into his head. Carl, basically, it was for those letters is the reason why he didn't kill Negan. If he hadn't read those letters, then Negan would have been dead.
Yeah.
So I feel like the whole Carl thing has kind of been voiced, and I feel like, it's clear as to why Rick is doing things the way, but that might not mesh well with everybody else. They've been fighting this entire war to kill Negan.
The explanation,
and then it comes to the point to do it, and they don't.
But if Rick was able to give the explanation that he gave to Negan to his face, when he woke him up, that explanation, when he said that to Negan, I was like, I totally get it. You want this guy to suffer watching what could have been and have no fucking part of it other than to show people that there can be a civilization, right? By having a due process and not actually killing people willy-nilly, you know what I mean, or just for
Yeah.
doing something wrong or stooping to their level. And I think that was a really good message. And if he was able to tell that to the rest of the crew, they'd probably understand that, even if they didn't agree with it 100%.
And I feel like it might come to a point where he may voice that to everybody. You know, I think that was a decision where he was like, save them, and then we're going to figure out what to do with them. And that was kind of figured out maybe a couple hours later or the next day.
Right.
I just feel like this is so weird because obviously as someone watching the show, you know that this is going to come back and bite Rick in the ass. That Negan is going to escape. Someone's going to let him out. And shit's going to happen because of it. It's just,
Negan's
to me,
going to fall in line. I'm telling you right now.
You think that Negan is going to back Rick?
I feel like Negan's gonna realize that like there's other ways to do things,
Right.
And like if Rick proves that to him, he might actually. Which is why I think there's a little bit of foreshadowing. It probably won't go exactly that way, but when like Negan's in the garden and like Rick's daughter comes up to him, he's like, "Oh, hey, honey, how you doing?" You know, and it was kind of like, "Oh, all right, that's some foreshadowing as to where Negan may go."
I guess you're right.
know?
I mean, because
yeah.
Negan isn't necessarily a bad person. Like, he lost his wife, and because of that, that's kind of the reason why I
Right.
think he did a lot of the
Right.
stuff. You know, he just started, like, fucking everyone's wife. And
Well, he was fucking everyone's wife when his wife was still alive. That was
Yeah.
like, that's the reason why he feels so much guilt and why he named his bat Lucille, is because he used to cheat on his wife.
Yeah, and he said that to Gabriel.
oh,
He used to cheat on his wife, and like, you know, she stood by him through thick and thin and got him through those hard times, and then she passed away because of cancer. And that was exactly the time that all the shit started going down with the zombies.
so he's
So-
like towards the apocalypse.
Kinda, yeah. And so that's why he kind of just like he stayed. He became the same, like an exaggerated version of the person that he was prior. But I do think that he is a redeemable person, and he's going to show that through his years as a prisoner in Rick's camp.
Well,
I'm still going to watch Walking Dead. I'm not saying that I've now decided, F them. I was just disappointed.
Right. No, absolutely.
I'm super stoked, man, about seeing where this goes with Jeffrey Dean Morgan still being a part of it. You know, like that they didn't just kill him off. I mean, like I part of me wanted him to be killed off, but he wasn't, and somehow I was okay with that. So,
Real quick, we're not going to go into it because I know neither one of you probably watched this, but the Fear premiere actually has a really, really good actor added to the cast now, and I'm pumped for that.
it was a Morgan crossover too.
Yeah, you guys used to watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I did not.
No, did you, Tony?
I saw a couple episodes. I didn't see the entire season or series.
I am going to watch Fear, though. I
Who was the
have
actor that was
stuck
in it?
with it?
I'm looking him up right now. Do you remember Cromartie?
Vaguely. It's because Sarah Connor Chronicles, that ended when, though? That was a while ago. Hold on. Let's see. I'll have to edit this. Is it? Okay. I don't know. I'm going to stop it. Well, I'll just fix it. Who is it?
Garrett Dillahunt, I think. Yes, Garrett Dillahunt.
Oh, all right. Let me look at this guy.
This guy here.
Yeah, I've seen him in stuff before. Yeah,
He's awesome.
okay.
And because I've seen him in so many things. I've seen him in comedies. I've seen
Right.
him in.
He has
He's
kind of
awesome.
a James
So-
Gunn look to him.
All right. Well,
So,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Fear premiere is not something I'm really interested in because I didn't really like the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons. I just like fell off.
Like, God, the mom sucks.
But I mean, I just couldn't get into it, man. I wasn't invested in the characters. I didn't give a shit about any of them. I was bored. I was on my phone when I was watching the episodes, which means that nothing's really like I'm not engrossed in the show, and it also felt like a chore to watch it, so I just didn't. But I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out and just see kind of like how Morgan pops in because I do want to actually see that a little bit of that crossover.
It's worth it because none of
Yeah.
the cast from the first few seasons were in the premiere,
Okay,
which was weird to me. But
check it out.
But the people that they introduced were really good, and that Garrett Dillahunt is friggin' great. He's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully they find their stride. I've stuck with it so far.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back. Yo, Cooley, what's going on, man?
Not much, bro. What's up?
Pretty good, man. So, dude, do you when it comes to investing, do you get all this stuff about stocks? Does it make sense to you?
Yo, I'm the best. I'm not really that great at it. I do it, but it's more of a dabbling thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not a master at this. I would like to know more. I'm always wondering if I'm going to invest my money in the right places. But a good place to get this stuff started is at supplyanddemandinvesting.com.
Yo, so true. Stop following the modern portfolio theory investment crowd and try an alternative means of investing your hard-earned money at supplyanddemandinvesting.com.
And for a limited time, submit any 5 stocks, mutual funds, or exchange-traded funds and receive a free SDI analysis on each.
Simply go to supplyandemandinvesting.com/RedBeard. That's us. Fill out the form along with your selections, and you'll receive your free SDI analysis within 48 to 72 hours.
Go to supplyandemandinvesting.com/RedBeard for your free analysis today.
And thanks to supplyandemandinvesting.com for their continued support of the RedBeard Podcast. Welcome back, everyone. Something went down this week, and it's topsy-turvy for me. I'm not a huge Superman fan. There are a lot of Superman fans out there, and that is obvious because Action Comics, which is where Superman debuted, has just hit issue number 1,000 this week.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've seen issues of Superman on the shelves, counting them, from even like back when it was like issue number 600. That was an amazing feat. But I'm looking at the numbers as they go up, and you see 950, 960, 970, and it doesn't really hit you.
What about 980?
It doesn't hit you until you see issue number 1,000.
That's insane.
Right?
Man.
You see 1000 on the cover. That's a long ass number for a comic book. I mean, think about it.
Is there any other comic book that has hit 1,000?
No, this is the first one.
I mean, Action Comics was the original.
Right.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
This is the first one that's hit 1,000. It may not have. I don't know if it was actually the first comic book, but it was. I mean, like, to hit 1,000. This is the first one and only so far that has. Batman is hot on its heels. That's going to hit 1,000 pretty soon. And let's be honest. I mean, to be fair, the numbering system has always been kind of weird because, like, they've had weeklies, they've had bi-weeklies, it's gone monthly. So, like, they've rushed or accelerated the process of getting to issue number 1,000. Not intentionally. I mean, I know they weren't saying, we got to get to 1,000 real quick. But regardless of how often the books came out, that means that there are people out there that are buying this comic book. Right? Because you're not going to make sales like that in a vacuum. You're not going to reach issue number 1,000 if nobody's buying the book or if it's worthy of being canceled, because it's a business at the end of the day, and DC / Warner Brothers would have canceled this book. And they didn't. It's survived, and it is the flagship title of the DC universe. And that alone is a reason to go out and buy this book, just to own a piece of history. I have 2 copies myself. It has like 8 different covers. I bought 2 of them. The covers are done by Steve Rude, Michael Cho, Dave Gibbons, Mike Allred, Jim Steranko, Joshua Middleton, Dan Jurgens, and Lee Bermejo. There's also a blank variant cover, so you can just take that to the conventions, have somebody draw on the cover, and have your own custom Superman issue number 1,000 cover.
Oh, dude, that's pretty badass, actually.
Yeah, it is really cool. But
I didn't know they did that, man. That's sick.
Yeah, they've done that with other issues and stuff like that. This one is actually, to me, this one is actually a really special issue. I mean, regardless of all the other stuff I just mentioned, I already said I'm not a Superman fan. I bought this issue, one, to have a piece of history, the first comic book to ever hit issue number 1,000. But two, there's a ton of talent in this book. People that are writing and drawing inside the internal stories. There's a bunch of different stories. It's a very long issue. It's about $7.99 to buy the book, so it is pricey, so be prepared for that. But I mean, like, the list of talent is, I mean, you got John Cassidy, Olivier Coipel, or Coipel. That's I don't know how to say his name. He's French. Paul Dini, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Patrick Gleason, Butch Geist, Jeff Johns, Dan Jurgens, Tom King, Jim Lee, Clay Mann, Brad Meltzer. You have
So
Jerry
everybody
Ordway.
is what
Yeah, I was
you're
just going to
Pretty
say,
much.
so everyone
Tim
is
Sale,
on
Louise
this.
Simonson, Scott Snyder, Kurt Swan.
Come on down.
Peter J. Tomasi, Marv Wolfman. I mean, it's sick, the amount of talent on here. But
And of course, the man above, God.
want
to thank him for.
but the one that made me buy this book, the one that actually cemented my drive to pick this title up, is the one and only Brian Michael Bendis. If you're a Bendis fan and you've been waiting for his first work with DC since announcing his departure from Marvel, if you're waiting for Action Comics number 1001, which is going to be his first full Superman story, you're waiting for the wrong book. The book that he's starting with is out now. It is Action Comics number 1000. The final story that's in that book is written by Brian Michael Bendis and drawn by none other than Jim Lee. And it's awesome. It actually introduces a new character who may or may not be responsible for the destruction of Krypton. So he is adding to the lore of Superman. He's not rewriting the story, so Krypton is still destroyed and everything goes down the way that it did.
Good.
But there are some additions that he's bringing to the story, such as the person responsible for
I
that
want them all
destruction.
dead.
All right.
Yeah, on this day in 1938, Action Comics number 1 debuted 80 years ago.
Celebrating
I mean,
80 years.
And still, to be that relevant. That was
Relevant?
terrible.
Yeah. Relevant?
Yeah, relevant. Did I said
said
something?
relevant.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's
Whatever.
that too. He's relevant. He's and
But
relevant.
it's still
All
a
the
big deal.
relevant.
I mean, we're still coming out with Superman movies, and they're okay, but they're still making them.
Yeah, and like really, really cool is, I mean, like 80 years, man. That's a long freaking time to be making comics with the same title, and it's a testament to the popularity of this character and the staying power. It's the epitome of an iconic character. When you think comic books, Superman is one of the first things that pop into your brain, besides Batman. I wish it was Spider-Man or Captain America because I'm such a Marvel head, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it's going to be Superman.
Yeah, the reality is Superman and Batman are the two most iconic characters in comics, and for them to be hitting that 1,000 mark, and for people to be able to be a part of that, I don't want to undersell that at all. I mean, get out there, buy the book, and put it in your collection. Even if you don't have a collection, put it in a frame, or put it or send it out to the CGC and get it graded. Put it away, hang it up, whatever you want to do. It's gonna be a piece of history.
I will do that.
Yeah, man. Good call. I mean, I didn't even know it came out today, but I mean, I'm definitely, you already got 2 copies. Of course you did. Where'd you get them at?
Got them at Newberry Comics.
Oh, word. So
Yeah.
they just had them.
Yeah, they still have some left. I mean, I'm sure that this was something that was over ordered.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't go out and buy this thinking, hey, I'm going to make money off of this.
No, it's just
Go
to
out-
have it.
Yeah, go out and buy it and own a piece of history. I mean, it's just really cool. It's
Yeah,
a really cool
definitely.
thing to have.
And in other news, The Simpsons are still making new episodes, and nobody gives a shit.
Well, Simpsons fans do.
Hey, Nancy Cartwright still has a job. The voice of Bart Simpson.
There's
yeah.
Simpsons trivia at Trinity Brew
And
House.
super sexy Yeardley Smith.
Dude,
Every
every
Tuesday.
The voice
casino
of
you
Maggie.
go to has a Simpsons freaking slot machine. Like, it's crazy, dude. So, But yeah, man, there's also some X-Men news as well.
Oh yeah. There is some X-Men news, if you want to call it that. I guess
You
there's
don't give a shit.
Yeah,
about.
there's some fucking thing that Fox is putting out. It's titled Dark Phoenix, but it's probably going to be something completely fucking different because that's what they love to do. It's going to be it is thankfully reported to be the last Fox X-Men film
before Disney
actually takes over.
Thank God, light at the end of the
property.
tunnel.
Yeah.
And they're also saying that that Disney is hopefully going to do like a reboot of the X-Men with in the Fantastic Four, which I would love to see because I feel like even though I was a big fan of the Fantastic Four that came out with Chris Evans as Flame On, I definitely, for me, I liked that version. It was cheesy as hell, but when it came out, I enjoyed it. But then, like, that other one they made was a piece of trash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I'd like to see Disney do something badass with it because I think Fantastic Four could be awesome if it's done right,
Yeah, and here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing, though, is that when this deal is finalized, the Russo brothers who are behind Infinity War they haven't confirmed anything or put it in writing or anything like that, but they fucked around with the idea of coming out with a Secret Wars movie to incorporate the new properties, and it'll be their way of bringing it in. Now Secret Wars, if you're an old school comic book fan, you're going to remember that it was this real cheesy thing where you have all these all these villains and all these heroes that were brought together by the Beyonder on a battle world where they all faced off against each other in teams, and it was a fight to the death. With the Beyonder being the judge and the person that was presiding over the whole thing. That this is not the Secret Wars that they're referring to. The Secret Wars that they're referring to was a recent one where the Marvel Universe was destroyed, and Doctor Doom, via the help of a cosmic cube and the Molecule Man, actually was able to hold together the Marvel Universe through his sheer will. So he basically became the savior and the god of the new Marvel Universe proper. And what he did was he formed it in his own image, and he actually he had like these different sections, and it was really cool the way they did it. It was very Game of Thrones like. So you had all these different realms and stuff like that, and he was like the lord that everybody had to report to, and like everybody was like trying to manipulate everybody else, and it was total intrigue, and it was awesome. But the bottom line is that there were all these different realities and universes that once Secret Wars was over, it all merged back together into a Marvel universe that was more familiar and more congruent with what we remember. But there were pieces from all these other universes that were included. So it was like a merging and melding of everything. And I think that's what they're planning on doing, to bring in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in an organic way that doesn't mean that they have to go back and tell us the story of how they were made again. Like, we don't have to see
there's no origin stories. Yeah. I mean, one of the things I found interesting was that in the article I read about this, they constantly use the word merger. Like, merger, we're going to merge. Right. So it's like, all right, like, I know where they're going with this, but I would love to see some characters kind of cross over. Like, I think that would be cool, kind of bring these two different groups of characters together, because I feel like there's a lot of people that would like to see that happen, and that's going to bring in like some new fans, I think, that might not necessarily love all the Marvel movies, but it's still, I mean, Disney is definitely, I don't think Disney can do any wrong lately. You know what I mean? They're just killing it. So
I think I would nut in my pants if the Silver Surfer showed up.
Yeah, he did once, but it was all right.
No, I mean, if he showed up in Infinity War or Infinity Gauntlet or whatever the next one's going to be.
You think he's going to show up?
Oh my! I don't know, but if he did, it would be one of the best surprises ever.
Well, it could be.
I'd be super stoked because then he'd be heralding Galactus.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome too, as long as it's not a fucking cloud of smoke, alien smoke that shows up.
Listen,
hey guys, there's a cloud of smoke coming.
Hey guys,
I'm so stoked that Fox is, it's coming to an end with the Marvel movies because I have not liked the X-Men movies for a little while now.
They've made
always
their money.
been disappointing.
Sorry, I'm definitely gonna stand by Wolverine though, man. Hugh Jackman's my boy, dude. He killed it.
There's been a couple of Logan. I thought was a great movie. The Deadpool movie has been excellent, but the X-Men movies have been just shy of dreadful, in my opinion.
And obviously,
for a while,
but
they have been watchable.
Some of the actors, though, that have been playing these characters, like obviously, Ryan Reynolds is set in stone as Deadpool. Like no one else is going to play that. Also, Josh Brolin coming in as Cable. I mean, like that's also a character that's going to have to stay with Josh Brolin. Like they're not just going to change it over. It took a while to actually cast him as Cable. So for him to actually, I don't think that they're planning on like changing that at all. So I feel like a lot of people that are still involved in these movies that are going to be moved over to Disney are still going to be part of the project. So, I mean, have faith in those things.
Here's what's going to happen. They take over. There's going to be all of these movies that they're going to say, yo, I shit on this movie. We're going to make something 10 times better. Wait and see. And then they're going to get to Deadpool. And I don't know if they're going to know what the hell to do. They're going to look at that and they're going to be like, we can't shit on this. And there's probably no way that we make a better Deadpool movie.
No, I think they're going to
change it.
They're going to keep Deadpool the way it is.
You can't bring it down, and they better not change. They already agreed not to change the R rating. They can't do that with like a PG-13.
Well, they either don't make a Deadpool movie going forward, or they keep the current cast and writing crew and all that. And I got a feeling that it's going to be no more Deadpool movies after this because unless they decide that hey we need to make money, which it's Disney and they don't need to make money.
But they would be dumb not to because it's gonna do well.
It is gonna do well.
So
but
it's
if you,
stupid to do that.
But if you look at it this way, the one of the trailers was Ryan Reynolds saying something to the effect of, you do 2 and you're out. You make a third one and like you're basically committing suicide or whatever. He says something along those lines, and they were talking about something else, but it was obvious they were talking about the movie.
Subtext.
Yeah. So because of that, I'm kind of skeptical about whether or not this series continues, and this might just be his swan song as the character. Like he might be done after this. So,
but I could see him making cameos in other movies.
That would be sweet.
I can see that happening. I just think we'll have to see what happens with this new Deadpool movie coming out. But I think people have really latched on to the character of Deadpool now. I think people are excited for it.
Right.
And I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of fans clamoring to see him in the Marvel Universe, finally getting a chance to mingle with the other superheroes.
Right. No, it would be awesome if they decided to do it. And I just don't know. I just don't know, man. It's Disney and it's Marvel, and they haven't done anything that risky yet. And I'd love to see them do it, but I'm not sure that it's going to happen. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. Is what that boils down to. I'm
not going to see Dark Phoenix in the theaters.
Yeah, who? I probably won't either.
Nobody's going to see Dark Phoenix in the theaters. They're going to go.
Will.
No, they're going to go see a movie. It's not going to be Dark Phoenix. I refuse to call it Dark Phoenix.
It's going to be a dark theater with no one in it. That's pretty much what it's going to be.
No, there'll be people there. There'll be a lot of people that go and see a movie. It's not going to be Dark Phoenix. Like that is like it's such a cornerstone of the X-Men lore. The Dark Phoenix saga is such an iconic tale that there's no way that Fox is going to do it justice.
I still can't get over how much I hated Apocalypse.
Oh, it was awful.
What an awful, the most boring mutant in all of mankind was Apocalypse. And he's been around forever. He had plenty of time to create a personality, and he just didn't.
I'll be honest, it was fun when I watched it the first time. It was a fun movie. It was a comic book movie. It was like the most comic booky of the comic book movies that I've watched. It was colorful. There was a lot of action. It kept me I wasn't on the edge of my seat, but there were moments that I laughed. There were moments that I was like, oh, that was cool to watch. But none of it was like, I wasn't like, oh, this is what I imagined I would see when I saw an Apocalypse movie. Like it was like very disappointing with what they did with the character. The character of Apocalypse sucked.
Yeah.
Yep. Awful. Like, what could he do? He teleported and like made somebody's powers better or some shit. Like, that's not Apocalypse's thing.
He made a bunch of
reason why this is going to be their last movie.
Yeah, he made a bunch of steel workers like fall into concrete.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I haven't seen.
I
the
wish
whole
I
thing,
had that power.
so
Did
I
you fall
literally.
It's
asleep?
very specific.
Well, no, I got like halfway through it, and I just like I had to do something else, so I was like, I'll finish this another time, and I just never did.
Oh, were you watching it on like your TV or?
Yeah, but it was at like my parents' house, and I think I was helping them out with something, and like they were doing something else, and then I couldn't finish it, but it wasn't like, oh, I wish I could finish this. It was like, okay, I'm done. Something to look forward to in October. So the next Halloween movie is going to be coming out, which is there's a lot to look forward to in this movie because it's basically the sequel to Halloween, where they're bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. She's reprising her role, and they're also bringing back Nick Castle to play Michael Myers, who was the original Michael Myers, which I think is really cool. And the poster that they released is basically just the Michael Myers mask, but it looks just very old and kind of worn out. It kind of looks like William Shatner's face now. So I honestly, so if people will get that.
No, it's mad funny because it's a William Shatner mask. Yeah. So good. So good. Thanks, man.
No worries. So basically, I'm looking forward to this, man, because the original was in 1978, and it really killed, man. Like, it was a really freaky movie, and I think that they're looking to bring back kind of like the horror of this film, which I'm super looking forward to. One of the things that I really liked in an article that I read is that they said that they're not looking to make this hokey in any way. They just want it to be unadulterated fright, and I'm loving that. You know what I mean? Because Jamie Lee Curtis is a scream queen. She's what made Halloween what it is. So bringing back, I feel like, the original elements to this movie that made it as iconic as it was is something that we've all been waiting for. Because you had like those cheesy ones like Halloween H2O, which wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. And I think the ones that oh my God, I'm losing his what's his name? The guy who directed Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie actually did some Halloween movies, which I actually didn't mind. I thought those were pretty. I thought they were pretty well done, but apparently they're ignoring that those two movies even happened. So I mean,
I love
guess
all of his movies, especially like House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, dude, they're so dark and disturbing.
Yeah. Like they are like Rob Zombie, and I'm going off track just a little bit, but Rob Zombie, like. It's funny that you say that because when you said like pure unadulterated terror and fear and all that, I'm saying to myself, man, I haven't been scared by a horror movie in freaking ages. And I know I'm an adult, but still, like, I mean, you can do something to try and scare me.
Yeah.
The only movies that have scared me in forever have been the Rob Zombie movies. They weren't scary, but they were, like you said, they were very disturbing. And to me, disturbing is scary. Yeah. Because like it makes you think like, there are people in the world like this, right?
Oh, probably. There are.
And obviously there are. And that's the thing that's really scary about it. And if you can touch me like that deeply, like and it's like visceral almost, like that's the type of fear that I want. And if they can do that with this movie, great. But I mean, like,
yeah, and I know
you mentioned Rob Zombie, and that's horror movie making at its best, in my opinion.
And those are the types of movies where it's like I was watching those movies and I was like, man, I really feel uncomfortable watching these, but I have to finish it. Like a movie that disturbs you but also sucks you in and doesn't let go, I think is a pretty good skill to have as a director. So
Nick Castle is 70 years old. So Mike Myers has always walked slow, but now that's why. It's because he has osteoporosis.
Is he going to be like hunched over a little bit? Like,
I don't know, dude. It's movie magic. They'll probably put a brace on him or something. Give him some padding to make him look bigger. He's
going to be attacking Jamie Lee Curtis, and then he has to like stop to take beta blockers.
But honestly, I'm definitely looking forward to this, man. I think this is actually going to be friggin' awesome.
I never really caught on to Halloween. I remember seeing H2O in the theaters because some girl wanted me to go see it. But other than that, I've never seen a Halloween movie. I will say this, though. I've always looked at the Halloween franchise as the bastard to Friday the 13th. I always thought that Friday the 13th was the big marquee name, and Halloween was trying to...
But Halloween came out first, as far as I know.
Okay, well, I'm saying that Friday the 13th, to me, was always the bigger marquee name.
Right.
But you're not really seeing a whole lot of Jason movies, and Halloween, I feel, just continues to trudge on.
They ran out of Jason movies. I mean, they've had like at least like 16 of them motherfuckers, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's
they've made a
there's
ton.
even been a game recently, dude,
Yeah.
which was kind of was actually really good. A lot of people loved it. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, I know what you're saying, but
Well,
I feel
Friday
like
the
you might,
13th
but I feel like you might feel that way because the Friday the 13th movies were bigger in our generation. Like when we were growing up, they were coming out more often. I feel like Halloween is a little bit older and kind of like wasn't as popular as it was when we were growing up as the way Friday the 13th was.
But I'm saying, I think Halloween has done a really good job of standing the test of time.
Oh, yeah.
They came out the Rob Zombie movies, which was great, and then now they're coming out with a new Michael Myers movie. The last few Friday the 13th movies were duds. I mean, they tried to remake Friday the 13th in 2009, and the appeal wasn't there.
But it was good
for Jason.
It was actually a good remake, though. I really liked it. But the thing with, I mean, Halloween is that they never put frickin' Michael Myers in space.
Yeah, seriously.
So I think once
goes to hell.
Yeah, I think once they started running out of places for Jason to terrorize, like it just became like just pure crap. The only time that they messed up with Halloween was Season of the Witch. Which was it had nothing to do with Michael Myers. It was just like this stupid mask that like attached itself to kids' faces or whatever. It was really dumb.
So basically, it was the masks that R.L. Stein wrote.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Really, really dumb.
So, I mean, I can close out my thoughts on this just from a quote from an article that I was reading about this, which is what kind of gives me faith about this movie. So, because a lot of stuff we do now with horror is just like they rely on gore and blood to kind of like scare you. And it basically says, the original is all about tension. Laurie Strode doesn't even know that Michael Myers exists until the last minutes of the movie. So much of it is your anticipation of what's going to happen and the dread that Carpenter spins so effortlessly in that film. I think we were really trying to get back into that. We're trying to mine that dread, mine that tension, and not just go for gore and ultra violence that you see some horror movies lean on. To us, it was all about bringing back the creep factor and trying to find the horror in your own backyard, in our own homes. And I just feel like that's classic horror. Mm-hmm. You don't need blood and guts to scare the hell out of somebody. It's obviously just the tension that is scary.
Right.
And so I'm glad that they're going back to basics, and I think this movie is really going to just be classic horror.
That music, though.
Oh, I will agree.
It's awesome.
That music is classic. It trumps any other monster movie or psycho movie that has come out before or after. It's classic.
I will say the Jason breathing is pretty. Yeah.
But it's not music.
No, it's
I
not.
Mean, no one puts that on.
But those two
and
sound
jams
effects,
out that
those two sound effects and the psycho stabbing scene.
Yeah.
Those three are like the most iconic in horror.
When you were young and you heard that kind of Jason whisper, did you always think that it was talking about poop? No joke. It always to me sounded like shit, cock.
It never happened, bro.
Not me.
No, bro. But I mean, only in a Jim Kelly mind would that actually happen. So,
that was always
that probably made it bearable for you, though, right? Like with the.
Oh Jesus. But anyway, so look forward to the next Halloween movie this coming October, man. And it's not even summer yet, so we have some time to get through. But yeah, that'll give them some time to do it right, which I think they will.
Next
On
week
that
we
note,
get to talk about Infinity War.
Infinity War 27th coming out. Get ready.
I'm ready.
Thanos is
Got-
gonna
got my
F some
ticket.
shit up. So, are you going to IMAX?
No, I'm just going to regular theater first.
Wow, for
I'll
that?
I'll
You
go to
kidding me?
No, I'll go to IMAX eventually. Just I didn't feel like because I didn't jump on it right away, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit in like row 2 at IMAX like with.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to follow it like a tennis match. Like
I can see the lines in Thanos' chin. That's how close I am. I can see his under chin.
yo, did you see that part where so and so did this? And I would be like, what? Nah, that must have been on the other side of the
It was
screen.
on the left.
Did you like Infinity War? No, I was under Thanos' chin the entire movie. So, anyway, well, I guess stay tuned for next week. Has anybody got anything else?
I'm done.
Goodbye.
All right. See you next week.
Peace.
Later.